Hello again, and welcome to another edition of TTM Then and Now. I'm Bob, coming to you from the card closet tonight, and as I shoot this evening, it is September the 7th. And besides being my good friend Bob Mills' birthday, happy birthday, Bob. September the 7th, 1979 is the day that ESPN launched. Sports television would never be the same, and the guy that launched the very first show, SportsCenter, was a guy by the name of George Grande. Some of you may know that name. He went on to announce baseball for a couple of different teams, and he was the host every year of the Baseball Hall of Fame inductions for ESPN, and that's where I ran into him in the halls of the Baseball Hall of Fame. And this is our then for today. It is a 3x5 card signed by Mr. George Grande from ESPN, saying, "Bob, be the best that you can be." George Grande, ESPN. So certainly ESPN and SportsCenter has gone on for many years and has been a part of all of our lives that enjoy sports. And that's how we get started today on this edition of Then and Now. So let's see what's in today's mailbag. So we have got 12 envelopes to get through today, but we start, unfortunately, with the dreaded RTS, the return to sender Thad Bosley. That's an address I had gotten that I had seen worked for someone. It's Bethany College in California, and it didn't work. So we'll have to keep digging. If anybody has a good address for Thad Bosley and you want to send it my way, put it in the comments. So Carroll Stream, Illinois is where we start. We have some TTM returns. We're going to wrap up with a Wanna Shuffle. We're going to wrap up with a blind trade. We've got great stuff to get to. And here is Pete Stanisic with the Baltimore Orioles and a 1988 Topps. That is cool. Blue ink for Pete Stanisic. I am collecting autographs on the 1988 Topps set. I'm collecting others and have been for a long time. I started doing this in the early 1980s. Santa Ana, California. And then I took, 45 years off. And in June, we saw this happening in part from a video of one of the guys we're going to talk about a little later. And this is John Blue Moon Odom. Look at that, 1973, John Blue Moon Odom. And a cool, looks like he's covering a base in that picture. How cool is that one? John Blue Moon Odom. And this next one is the 1970. Now, I learned today, because over the weekend, a Baltimore Oriole player broke up a no-hitter. I think it was Jackson Halliday. Broke up a no-hitter in the ninth inning with a home run. And the last time that happened was Davey Johnson doing it off of Blue Moon Odom, back some time ago. And unfortunately, we lost Mr. Davey Johnson this weekend. So when I heard that, I thought that was a connection to what we're doing here today. And I knew that we were getting Blue Moon Odom because he put his sticker on the back of the envelope. So I try not to look ahead of time. I want to be surprised when you're surprised. West Palm Beach, Florida. And a double, and it's Tom Lawless. Look at that. There's the 88 Topps there, 83 up there. Tom Lawless is a guy that probably would not be in the league very long today, but had a pretty decent long career, including postseason, because the rosters were just different. Teams couldn't carry a guy like Tom Lawless as like an extra guy that was a good glove, not a lot of hit in the current configuration of rosters where they need so many pitchers. So there's a cool Tom Lawless. He signed both cards, and that's a cool get for the 88 Topps set. Tampa, Florida, Tampa St. Pete is our next card. It looks like a single. No, it's a double. Dick Bosman. Oh, and look. So Dick Bosman in the 72 and Dick Bosman on a 1975 mini. So a couple of cool vintage cards there. I love the 75 minis, and I'm working on building that set as a set. And when I can, I'll send them out for some TTM autograph love. Trenton, New Jersey is next up. And we have Pat Pasillo. To Bob, best wishes, Pat Pasillo on the 88 Topps. And then, of course, I love either of the incarnations in the 80s of the USA team cards. This is from the 85 set. Of course, we love the 88 set as well. So thank you, Pat Pasillo, and thank you for representing our country in the Olympics. Pittsburgh, PA, moving along. And more vintage, Steve Blass. Look at Steve Blass in a 1969, Steve Blass 1972. Of course, a great pitcher. Ran into some trouble where he just couldn't get the ball over the plate anymore, and that kind of wrapped things up, but then went on to be a big part of the Pirates broadcasting booth for a number of years. So there is Steve Blass, Boston, Massachusetts. More vintage, Jim Lonborg. 1974 up top, the 73s down here. For me, these are the two cards. This one especially, I remember going to Milford, New Jersey, the 5 and dime, and buying baseball card packs. But these 2 years were so big for me in the formative years of my collecting of baseball cards. And I was a Yankee fan going to school here in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Birmingham, Alabama is next. So I would trade a lot of my Phillies cards to get Yankees cards from my classmates. Steve Shields is up next. And there we see Steve Shields in the 1988. Steve Shields as a Yankee in the 1989 set. Atlanta, Georgia. We'll wrap up our last through the mail from a player, and we have some special stuff at the end. And Ross Jones. Ross Jones with the Royals in the 88 set. Blue ink from Ross Jones. Thank you, Mr. Jones. All right. So Knoxville, Tennessee. This is a blind trade that I did with Johnny Serena. And I mentioned early on, back in the early part, late spring, early summer, I was watching YouTube videos like you're doing right now. Thank you. And I started watching these guys doing TTM, and it reminded me of the time that I did it in the early 1980s. And I came up with the concept of showing what I got back then as well as what I'm getting now. But it was Johnny Serena, one of the guys that kind of inspired me. And when I saw he was doing blind trades, I thought, boy, that would be cool to get in on that and to let him know. So here's a card from Johnny. Hello, my friend. I hope my note has found you well. I am so glad you reached out for a blind trade. Love the cards you sent. Hope what I am sending works. Looking forward to seeing your channel grow. And thank you for your help, Johnny. I appreciate it. And keep up the good vibes. Go Vols. I said to Johnny in my note to him, go Vols, unless they play Penn State. And I got to see the Penn State Nittany Lions play in person yesterday, and that was a big thrill. So we got Mike Birkbeck from the 88 set, so that is very cool. We got Greg Brock in nice blue ink, and then a cool Diamond Kings card. Everybody loves the Dick Perez artwork on Diamond Kings cards, and they're a fantastic TTM subset. So yes, Johnny, it does work. Great, thank you so much. Let me put the 88 on top there and put that all right there. And then our last return of the day is a Wanna Shuffle. P.O. Box 68, Cordova, South Carolina 29039. Belinda does this. I first saw it on NBC Sports Philadelphia, did a segment on Wanna Shuffle that I don't know if it aired just in the Philly region or if that was something that was picked up across the country. And it's an awesome concept. You send a TTM card in once a month, one submission a month to Belinda at that address, and I will post both Johnny's channel information as well as Belinda's information. And before we get to the card, let's look at the letter briefly. There's a lot here, so I won't read all through it for you, but let's the note at the bottom. Let's take a look. Hi, Bob. Thanks for joining Wanna Shuffle. I hope you like it. Thanks for sending your list of preferred cards. You can give her an idea of what you're collecting and what you like. I did that. This 1988 Topps auto was submitted this month. I hope it's a nice addition to your 88 set. All the best, Belinda. So I will share the address and one submission per month for right now. But I think it's a cool thing to do with both of these things. The blind trade with Johnny and this in order to, trade off some of our extras, but also get some cool cards. And this is one that I do not have, Ricky Horton in the St. Louis Cardinals. So thank you, Belinda. And I'll put that right there if that helps you get on board with Wanna Shuffle t-shirts. There you go. And I will share the address. So thank you so much, Belinda, for that Wanna Shuffle. And thank you for joining us. Let's get that in the frame. Let's go over here. Boom, boom, boom. Producing on the fly. We're producing on the fly, folks. And we got a little glare there. So let's look at that. Look at that. All right. Everybody looks pretty good? Everybody looks good. Everybody smile. All right. Thank you so much for being on board. I wanted to mention one more time, we're getting close to September 26th. We're getting a little bit closer, but I want you to have time. Bobby Shantz's birthday, his 100th birthday. Look back a couple of episodes. We have all the information, his address. Send him a birthday card. Let him know that we love him being so great to us in the TTM hobby all these years, as well as being a great player. And he's turning 100. How cool is that? So check that out. And we thank you for being along. Please like and subscribe. And as we go to black, we're going to remember Mr. Davey Johnson. Rest in peace.